What's going on YouTube? This is What Would Josh Do, and I'm posting yet another video at 1080p. Here's the instruction booklet. It is in English, and then back here it's in other different languages. Now, this is just a cigarette lighter, so depending on the amperage that your cigarette lighter puts out, depends on how many volts you get. In your car, or truck, you should have like a fuse for your cigarette lighter that tells you how many amps it puts out. So this is a little guy. I was expecting it to be bigger than that. That's pretty cool. So let's go ahead and unravel this. And we're gonna go out to the car and test this and hook this up and check it out. So we're gonna do that. Alright. As you can see, we have two USB ports, one of those being 2.1 amps, so it'll charge up like a tablet or a Galaxy Note or Nexus 6 or some phone that can take 2 amps. And then you got a little 1 amp for charging up like an older phone, or you can even charge a newer phone on 1 amp, but it's not going to charge that fast. You've got a little light there, so it tells you, like, I guess green for good, red for overload or something. I'll have to read the instructions to figure all that out. And then you have 2 outlets, which is very nice. Very nice. And you have a fan back there. Now, whether this fan is quiet or loud, I don't know yet, but I don't care because most of the time you're driving on the highway and you're going to get road noise in your car. You're going to have music playing, so this fan should not be louder than that, and you have a little switch to flip it on and off. Now, if you're wanting to get more than what your car can give you, because you're not going to get the full 300 watts out of your cigarette lighter, more than likely you're not, this is why we also have this little guy right here. Let's go ahead and open this thing up right here, and we have this. This is going to allow you to tap into all of the power that this thing is going to be able to give you right here. So you just unravel this, and then you take this and you put it on the terminals on your battery. And what I like is these clips feel good. They feel super tough. Like you have to give it some force to open that sucker open and closed. And it's also has protection, so if the two touch, you shouldn't.
The power supply cables, specifically the 24 pin, but this can apply to others as well. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. So this is the blue build that I did a month or two ago in the Phoenix Aegis case, and this is going over to my cousins, do the Pimp My PC bit. That's usually on Kyle's half of the show, and we often rail on this when it comes to builds, as far as something that people could fix up and make better. Because it's like, I got nothing against the rainbow, you know, rainbows are pretty, but like nothing matches here. You got this kind of darker orange, you got black, you got red, you have like this kind of teal and blue and purple and gray, and it's hideous. None of those colors match. Theoretically, the colors line up with like different voltages and all that stuff, so it's somewhat important, I guess. But if you don't want to do what I did and bend over, it's going to need to like bend pretty significantly like that in order to plug in and route behind the motherboard tray. The plastickiness of the Plasti-Dip and it being flexible is much better for that. If you use regular paint, it might crack or something when you actually try to plug it in. I hope the Plasti-Dip
computer, a desktop computer. The difference between a 20 and a 24 pin connector and what the extra 4 cables are for. Now what I'll do, the best way for me to illustrate this really, I've got here a normal 20 pin connector, and I've got here a normal 24 pin connector. Now what I'll do is I'll lay them as close to each other as possible so you can see the similarities in the first 20 connectors when compared to the sort of last 4. Now here, the way they are, starting on the left hand side, working all the way to the right, where the 20 pin ends, if you look below, that's obviously where the 20 pin ends on the 24 pin connector, and the extra 4 pins are obviously on the right hand side. A good way to find out what they're for is looking at where the extra 4 come from. So if we take this black wire for example, this goes up here to the top, through there, and if you can see just there, sort of these black wires here, they come from, well, that black wire should I say comes from there. Looking at the one next to it, which is the orange, is that orange? Yep, it is. Okay, that comes from sort of one of the 2 connections there. Looking at the back, they are both yellow, so they're both going to come from separate locations again. This one comes from the second sort of row of wires in, just there.
4-pin connector on your power supply, and then it hooks up to the 8-pin connector on the motherboard. Real easy to use. Kind of difficult for me to use when I'm holding the phone in my other hand. But you just snap this on here, click, and the wires are red and black, going all the way down, and then up in here. It's impossible to use the phone and hold a flashlight. So that's what it looks like installed. There you go. You've got all the power going to the right places on the 8-pin connector. Just using this 4-pin converter. Simple, and definitely an easier solution than going out and buying another power supply or taking the motherboard back and getting a motherboard with a different connector on it. So now we got to see if she fires up when I hit the power button.